One of the easiest ways to get more views on YouTube is through YouTube search. Today, I want to walk you through what SEO is, how SEO can help you, and then a 3-step process to easily SEO all of your videos. So to get started, SEO just stands for search engine optimization. And really simply put, it's a way to allow your content to easily be pulled by a search engine such as YouTube search or Google search to be presented when a certain keyword is given for search. So if I searched, how do I get a stripped screw out? Then the content that's most likely going to show up is going to be content that is SEO'd for the term strip screw or how to get a strip screw out. And so that's all we're doing with YouTube SEO. So how can YouTube SEO actually help you? So to do this, I'm going to go into my own analytics. This is the analytics for my channel, The Science Grad School Coach. It's not the current channel that you're watching. And so when I come in here, I'm going to set this to lifetime, and then I'm going to come over to my content. So when I come to my content and I scroll down, you can see how viewers find your videos. This is essentially the traffic source for my videos. And my number one over the lifetime of my channel has been YouTube search. That is the primary way that I have grown my channel. I have not been recommended in browse features often or suggested videos. This is a channel focused on science graduate students and how to do research, so it's not as likely to blow up as things focused on what people are typically looking for on YouTube, like how to grow on YouTube. So you can see YouTube search is my number one. That is not the only thing that SEO will do for you. So you can see here, external is my number two, and that accounts for 17% of my traffic. So if I go to my external, you can see that Google search is my number one external traffic source. So 62% of that 17% is coming from Google search. So what you're doing for YouTube SEO is also going to impact your Google search SEO. When you're appearing in both, you're going to get a lot more views because someone just searching it on Google, which is the number one search engine, could also find your YouTube channel. And if they're specifically looking for videos on YouTube, they could also find your YouTube video for that. That is what SEOing your video will do. Let's talk about how do we actually do it. And I have a really simple 3-step process for how I SEO all of my videos, and I'm going to walk you through it right now. So the very first thing you need to do is find an SEO'd topic to create a video on. It's really hard to SEO a video when the topic is not something that is searchable. It doesn't mean you shouldn't create content around these topics. That's a completely valid thing to do. You should always have a mix of the different content that you want to do, even if it's not SEO friendly. But if you want to grow and get more views, it is helpful to have SEO topics that are not incredibly competitive so that you have a chance to rise to the top. So how do you find these topics? So the number one thing I do is I come to an Incognito browser and I'll just go to youtube.com. And what I'm going to use here is called YouTube Autofill. So basically what I'm doing is using the search bar and I'm going to put in the information that I potentially want to create a topic on. So if we're talking about my Science Grad School Coach channel, let's say one of the topics is a literature review. That's a common topic. So you can see as soon as I start typing in, it has things that are starting to pop up, right? Literature review and research, literature review example and research proposal. So this is starting to get to the point where I'm starting to actually see potential topics. And this is getting filled in by the number of times people are searching that topic. So this means that a lot of people are just searching literature review. And so if I can create a video that includes just talking about literature review, that means that I am more likely to be able to appear in search because people are actually searching for it. So a couple other tricks, let's just go ahead and put in literature review, and you see it's getting more specific as I give it more information. Literature review outline, introduction, writing, all of these things. So if I just did this, I'm getting only those that start with literature review. What if I want something that comes before it, like how to, or something like that? So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to say how to, and you can see that's starting to kind of fill in. And then I'm just going to put a underscore here, and that allows it to fill in with a lot more stuff. So how to write a literature review, how to write a literature review for thesis, how to read research papers for a lit review. So now you have all of these different kinds of topics that aren't just how to a lit review or just about a literature review. And you can put this in multiple different ways. So a really common SEO topic is how to something. And so this is one way that you can do that to find that. Another really good way to find an SEO topic is instead of putting how to with an underscore, I'm just going to put versus. And now you're going to get things that people are searching, one thing versus another thing. So literature review versus abstract, literature review versus introduction, research paper, systematic review. All of these things are also good topics to potentially create a video. So one other place that you can also go to find some of these topics based on search term is to answerthepublic.com. And so when you do this, you can enter in a topic that you want to do. And I will warn you, there's only, I think you can do 1 or 2 searches for free, and then you have to pay for it, or you have to wait like till the next day to be able to do that. So if I do literature review and do search, so now you can see all these different questions are coming up. And so you can see literature review process, what literature review should include. You can see is a literature review a primary source? Is a literature review a methodology? How a literature review is done. So you can actually start to see SEO'd topics because this is actually taking from Google SEO. What are people actually searching so that you can create topics that answer those search questions? So if you come down to comparisons, you can actually see versus here. So you can see some of the same things that were showing up in YouTube autofill are also showing up here. Literature review versus introduction, literature review versus research paper, literature review versus systematic review. So all of these things are kind of showing up here as well. This also is now showing search volume and cost per click as well. So that's a way to come up with just SEO'd topics. The next thing you want to do is figure out which ones are actually good to pursue on YouTube, because if there are already 500 things that are ranking well for how to write a literature review, that might not actually be a good topic for you to talk about on YouTube because you're not likely to go to the top of search. So now what we can do is I'm going to come back to my browser where I'm actually logged in. I'm going to put in one of the examples. So literature review versus research paper. So you can see that's filling in as well here, and I'm going to search it. And so what I'm doing here is you can see actually one of my videos appears, not entirely surprising, and here's another one of my videos appearing here. So what I can do is if I scroll down, I use TubeBuddy. And so in this case, I actually pay for TubeBuddy, but TubeBuddy has a free extension. You can download it. I'll leave a link below. And you can see that this is an excellent keyword. The reason I use TubeBuddy, you can see up here, I have vidIQ. And the thing is I'm always within this range in vidIQ whenever I'm searching stuff for my Science Grad School Coach channel. There's such a lower volume when you're dealing with research or academics because there's just not as many people that are in that space that are searching for it. TubeBuddy is actually able to still give me what's a good versus bad competition keyword, even when there's low search volume, where vidIQ just basically always tells me they're all like medium to bad. So that's why I don't tend to use vidIQ whenever I'm looking for my Science Grad School Coach stuff. So this is overall a good keyword to search. And then it also gives me common video tags. And so if you're on the free version, I think it gives you 3. If you're go the 1 level up, it gives you the ability to look at all of these. And so from here, this is where I can start seeing, okay, what are the good tags? What are the words that I should be using that are common with this? And that is how you can get to where you're actually starting to get your videos showing up in high levels of search for this. So the other feature, and I'm going to show you this for this literature review right here. So let's go find that in my channel. So here we go. Here's the one in my backend. So I'm going to go to edit because I want to show you what else TubeBuddy is doing that helps me to do this. This was literature review versus research paper. This specifically is literature review versus research introduction. Whenever you just search it, you are going to appear higher if you've ever watched your own videos because it personalizes the search towards whatever channel you're on at that time. This allows TubeBuddy to say, okay, where would you most likely go on a neutral channel? So for literature versus introduction, it's saying I'm ranking number 1 for this term. That's what that blue circle means. Introduction and lit review differences is also number 1. But again, we saw that that's not a common search term there. So even though I'm ranking really high, it's not necessarily that I'm actually getting a lot more views for that. And I didn't even have a tag for my lit review versus research paper, which is what I was showing up there. So you can see that this allows me to know how well am I doing my SEO, how well is it ranking, without always having to go to an incognito browser to be able to do that. So once you have your topic that you want to do, you know that it's a good topic from looking at maybe TubeBuddy stats or vidIQ stats of seeing what is the competition. But over here, you can see that the competition is rated excellent, which means there's not a lot of other videos that are competing for that keyword. And so that's what you really want to look for. If it's poor, that means there's already a lot, and there might be already a lot from a lot of different higher ranking channels. And so it might be hard, even if you create the video, people may never see it through search. So once you have a keyword that has relatively low competition, is something that's appearing in search, now you actually want to make the content. And you actually are going to SEO your content while you're making it. So 2 really common tips that I have for you whenever you're trying to make your content is number 1, making sure that you're using the phrases you're trying to optimize for within your content. So in this example of literature review versus research paper, in the beginning of my video, I may say, I'm going to show you the differences between a literature review and a research paper today. And I know it's really hard for graduate students to really know the differences between writing a literature review and a research paper. I've now said literature review and research paper twice in like the first minute of my introduction. And this, especially if you add captions to your video, YouTube does scrape your captions to see what words you're saying and do those words actually match with what you're trying to optimize for. So that's one tip. The second tip I have is to create value-packed content around what you're searching for. So in this, think about how you consume, or think about your consumer, the person who's going to watch your video. What are they going to expect? So when you search something on YouTube, what do you want to see when you're searching it? If you get really frustrated when you search for a video, you click on it and somebody takes a minute introducing themselves, then maybe don't do that when you're actually creating content as well. Instead, create the content that you would want when you go to YouTube and search for whatever you're searching for. The higher value your content, the more likely people are going to stick around longer watching that video. And the better that you have audience view duration, that is telling YouTube and Google that when people search this keyword, your video is actually answering it. It's just like if they were sending them to a blog post and they immediately clicked off and went back to Google looking for another one. Google's going to say, okay, maybe that's not the best blog post to give for this because people aren't staying on it, people aren't reading it. That's the same thing YouTube is doing, is if people go to your search and they're immediately going back to the search and looking for another video, YouTube's going to be like, okay, we're going to put that one further down because that one's not doing as well in actually answering their questions. And so then the third step is to SEO your title and your description. The first thing is come up with a title that, one, includes your keywords, but also is beginner friendly. So in this case, you can see I had literature review versus research paper introduction, know the right amount of literature to include. So this is good because it's including literature review and it's including research paper, which is probably how I'm ranking for this keyword. Down here, review article versus research article, an in-depth exploration of the differences in 2 papers. So overall, I'm including my keywords in my title, but I'm also giving a little bit more information into what's actually going to be included. So for this video, I could do a comprehensive guide to YouTube SEO, how to get more views on your YouTube channel. So that's actually two different keywords that I'm targeting: YouTube SEO and get more views on your YouTube channel, or even get more views on your small YouTube channel. That's like 4 or 5 different keywords that I could be targeting in that. The second thing with your title is you want to make sure it's beginner friendly. So for example, if I'm going to say YouTube SEO, what if you're a new YouTuber and you have no idea what SEO means? You're not going to be likely to search for YouTube SEO. Therefore, I need to not only create my video that is focused on YouTube SEO as a keyword, but I also need to create my video focused on something that beginners are actually searching for, which is probably, how do I get more views on my YouTube channel? How do I grow my YouTube channel? That is going to be more likely what they're searching for than SEO. And so think about, where were you at the place when you want people clicking on your videos? Obviously for this, I think this is a very beginner friendly video for people trying to grow on YouTube. So I want my title to bring in those that are starting to grow on YouTube, and what words do they know and do they not know when they're doing that. The second thing you want to do in your description is to include these tags. So for example, in TubeBuddy, I include several different tags here, and you want to include this actually in the description section, not in the tag section. So whenever you're writing, let's go back, see how well of a job I did. Yeah, I didn't do a good job at all. I'm surprised this is even ranking. But here I said, learn the differences between a literature review and a research paper introduction. Now, I should probably go back in here and take some of these tags down here that I actually want to be ranking for and include them in my description that are actually written out in a way that really makes sense. And it sounds like I'm talking to another human, not just keyword stuffing. So that is another thing that you really want to do. And that's something that I do a lot. Let me go to a more recent video, because that was published like over 2 years ago. So let's come in here. So this is another start your literature review here, elicit AI, research assistant, literature review tool tutorial. That is a lot of keywords in there. And so in here, I still have my one topic here. So start a literature review is in there, or answer a research question. Start with the lit review tool. And then I have this little summation where I basically include the keywords that I'm walking through in this video. So it provides summaries, information about a research paper, export this information into Excel, use AI. That's another thing that I'm ranking for right now. You can check out this video above where I walk through like how I find topics for my YouTube analytics. AI is something that I'm ranking for very well right now. And so I'm including that in this video so that YouTube search knows that these all pair together basically. The last thing you want to include is chapters in your video. So for example, I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see at the bottom, I include time codes. And all you have to do here is start off your chapters by basically doing 00:00 space, and then put a chapter name, and then just include the timestamps for all your new chapters after that. And then it auto populates into YouTube. This allows for more keywords for YouTube search, but for Google search, this is really powerful because Google search will actually recommend YouTube videos based on these timestamps. So I'm going to come in here. This is actually the channel you're currently watching, and I'm going to do one example of how this actually looks. So this was a video that I made years ago that didn't perform well for a really long time, but then kind of took off. And so you can see 83.3% is coming from external, and you can see all of that is coming from Google search. And so when you actually look at, I'm going to go to my engagement, you're going to see this looks kind of weird, right? I have people dropping off and then they spike right here. And what you can see is right here is where I actually show how to use the Facebook sharing debugger system. And right here is a time code. So this is like 3:52. I'm going to go into my overview real quick, go to my details. And you can see right here, 3:52, how to fix YouTube thumbnails not showing on Facebook. So what actually happened was Google, when people started searching how to fix YouTube thumbnails not showing on Facebook, Google actually recommended this video at 3:52. And so that's how you're seeing that I have an increase, a massive increase in the viewership starting at 3:52, because that's when I actually shared that. So it's going to pool the sections. So what I would have been smarter doing was just create this as a video, and it probably would have performed better not only on Google, but also on YouTube. I didn't do that, but because I had those chapters in there, I was still able to take advantage of this portion of the video doing well. So that is what chapters are going to be able to give you in your YouTube videos. And the last thing to remember is SEOing is a skill. Don't try and do all of these things on your next video, but try and start with one. Can you do one additional thing to help SEO your videos to be able to grow your channel? And then look at your results. Use something like TubeBuddy to see which ones are you ranking for. Check your traffic sources to see are you increasing or decreasing in your YouTube or Google search for those videos as well. I really hope this was helpful, and if you're still looking for how to find video ideas you can rank for, I will include a video here showing how I do this just by looking at my own analytics, and I will also include a video here talking about the income that I make from YouTube. If this video was helpful, please click the like button and subscribe to learn more about my business and how I do things through growing my business on YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.